Thank you, everyone, and thanks for coming back. As Professor Mizrachi said, I'm James Uden. I teach classics at Boston University. I also teach the history of medicine class, and I'm also part of the executive board of BUCH. And so I have just a small inkling of exactly how much work goes into something like this. And I want to begin by recognizing the efforts of Professor Mizrachi, of course, but also Tamsin Flanders and Mary Curran, who really get things done. And also to the student workers and the people doing AV and all the people who contribute to the smooth running of a project like this. Okay, so there will be 4 speakers in this afternoon's panel. The first is Professor Susan Mizrachi, who is the William Arrowsmith Professor of the Humanities, the director of BUCH, and a professor of English here at Boston University. Throughout her career, Professor Mizrachi is someone who has blended a literary sensitivity and an interest in American film, art, music, literature, with a keen interest in cultural questions of economics, multiculturalism, and religion. She's the recipient of many academic honors, including fellowships from the Guggenheim Foundation, the Huntington Library, the NEH, the Fulbright Scholars Program, and here at BU, she also has won the CAS Dean's Award for Excellence in Graduate Education in 2015. In her own words, Professor Mizrachi says she hopes to make the humanities at BU more central to civic, state, national, and global communities. And her talk today on contemporary American art and literature and what she calls the therapeutic self-consciousness shows just how this is possible. The second speaker is someone we're very lucky to have here today. It's Mr. Johnny Rosenthal, a very prominent Boston-based businessman and philanthropist and the 2015 recipient of the Eastern Banks Wainwright Social Justice Award. He's the president of Meredith Management and a leader in a number of important and influential initiatives. In 1987, he founded and chairs Friends of Boston's Homeless. He was the co-founder of Stop Handgun Violence with the late Michael Kennedy in 1995, a nationally recognized gun violence prevention organization currently based in Beverly, which is a leading advocacy group for effective laws and initiatives to reduce gun deaths in Massachusetts and beyond. Massachusetts, Mr. Rosenthal writes, has enacted the most effective gun laws and is first in the nation in gun industry manufacturing and marketing regulations and standards. As a result, he says, urban industrial Massachusetts has reduced the rate of gun deaths in the Commonwealth by over 40% and now has the lowest gun death rate of any state in the nation. Together with former Gloucester Police Chief Leonard Campanello, he co-founded the Police Assisted Addiction and Recovery Initiative, PAARI, in 2015 to support the groundbreaking Gloucester Police Angel Program and to help police departments in Massachusetts and across the nation address the opioid epidemic. Today, he's speaking about rethinking police work, non-arrest pathways to treatment and recovery. Third, we have Professor Ben Siegel, who's an assistant professor here at Boston University in the history department, a dynamic and exciting historian who's looking in global and historical terms about the international aspects of the opioid crisis. His first book project, which was called Hungry Nation, Food, Famine, and the Making of Modern India, interrogated the ways in which questions of food and scarcity have structured Indian citizens' understanding of welfare and citizenship since independence. Currently, he's working on a book tentatively titled Markets of Pain, American Bodies and Indian Drugs in an Age of Distress, a global history of the opioid crisis, and we'll hear, I think, some of that work very soon. Prior to coming to BU, Professor Siegel was, among other things, a researcher and reporter for Time in New Delhi and Hong Kong, and a visiting fellow with Hong Kong University's Center for Medicine and the Humanities. His talk today is on the international origins of the US opioid crisis. And finally, we have the very distinguished Professor Paul Summergrad, the Dr. Francis S. Arkin, Professor and Chairman of the Department of Psychiatry and a Professor of Medicine at Tufts University School of Medicine also the Professor-in-Chief at Tufts Medical Center. In 2014 to 2015, Dr. Summergrad served as the 141st President of the American Psychiatric Association. He's also a past President of the American Association of Chairs of Departments of Psychiatry. After completing his training in psychiatry at MGH and Harvard Medical School, Dr. Summergrad served as the Chief of Inpatient Psychiatric Services at MGH from 1987 to 1998, and as Associate Professor of Psychiatry at Harvard. He's an international leader in medical psychiatric illness and care, and his research focuses on mood disorders, medical psychiatric illnesses, and health system design. He's been published very extensively with over 100 peer-reviewed publications, books, book chapters, and has received many awards, including the Distinguished Faculty Award from the Tufts University School of Medicine in 2015. His talk to us today is The Second Arrow, Opioid Addiction and Mental Disorders. And finally, a quick word about our moderator for this afternoon's panel, Associate Professor Amy Appleford, Associate Chair of the Department of English at Boston University, and a scholar who is focused in her work on the relationship between death, martyrdom, the body, identity in medieval and early modern literature and culture. She's the author of a book entitled Learning to Die in London, 1380 to 1540, published in 2014 by the University of Pennsylvania Press, and author of many articles on medieval and early modern literature. Thank you again for being here, and I look forward with you to an exciting panel this afternoon.